Hi, I'm David G. Ferguson, retired conservation officer turned novelist. I'm going to read a selection from my novel Bear Runners. This is a story set in the, got a glare. There, get rid of the glare. Set in the James and Hudson Bay lowland during an unusually harsh winter. A rookie conservation officer and a young natural resources bush pilot are tasked with bringing down a murderous polar bear poacher. To set the scene, Conservation Officer Rob McNabb has been driving the winter road south of Moosonee, looking for a set of possible human tracks he saw from the air the day before. And at the same time, pilot Samantha Williams is flying her government Turbo Beaver from Timmins to Moosonee, which is her new permanent posting. McNabb has fallen head over heels for Williams, but he is not sure if she feels the same way. So let's get started. Here we go. At Moose River Crossing. With his heart in his throat, McNabb threw his Dodge into a bootleg turn in the middle of the winter road. Engaging four-wheel drive, he headed back south as fast as he possibly could, but was stopped by road maintenance crew 5 kilometers along. "I need to get through right away," he told the foreman. "We've got a Turbo Beaver down in the bush near Onakwana." The maintenance crew had just arrived to begin repairing a soft section of the road. What had been open road 15 minutes earlier was now piled with fresh snow they would pack down to build a firm base. The foreman recognized McNabb as the officer who had given him a warning for littering. Without hesitation, he had the bulldozer operator make a temporary path for the Dodge to pass over. Back on the road again, Rob kept telling himself that Sam had to be okay. But why were there no further communications? Sure, the plane is damaged, the radio's out, but surely her satellite phone would have still worked, at least until the weather had deteriorated. He dreaded the thought that something had happened to her. As he drove by the entrance to the Winter Road maintenance yard, his GPS showed that just under 3 kilometers, this was about as close as the road would get to Sam's crash site. No, he refused to call it a crash site. He kept telling himself that she just had to make a forced landing out there somewhere. Turning his truck around again, he wheeled into the maintenance yard and pulled up to the office trailer. Pounding on the door brought no response. Everyone would be out plowing or packing or grooming or whatever they did to a winter road during a heavy snowfall. Everyone would possibly be the maintenance crew he'd just passed down the road. He moved his truck over to where 3 vehicles were already parked. Judging from the enclosed trailers behind 2 of them, he guessed they were visiting snowmobile tourists. He parked beside a brown Chevy pickup that was even older than his 2003 Dodge. Hauling his personal 3-star sleeping bag from the back seat, he stuffed it into his big backpack and added standard emergency items packed in waterproof bags. It was a tight fit, and it would be bulky, but not overly heavy to carry through the bush. After strapping on his snowshoes, he dug out his compass. If satellite phone signals were failing in the heavy snow, then his GPS would probably soon follow. For now, at least, the satellite-based device was still pointing the way. As he crossed the clearing toward the edge of the forest, he was walking over crusted snow, wind-blown and knee-deep. Excuse me. But the snowshoes kept him nearly on top, so the walking was easy. That was for the first 100 meters. As soon as he entered the black spruce forest, the snow became deep and powdery. Without snowshoes, it would have been at least thigh-deep, and even on his winter walking wear, he was sinking to his knees at nearly every step of the way. Worse still, A thin crust in the middle of the snowpack would almost hold his weight, but then give out, just as he was in mid-stride. The sudden letdown he endured on every single step was aggravating, and it slowed his pace to a crawl. It felt to him the way one feels when being chased in a dream. His legs just wouldn't move freely enough or fast enough, no matter how hard he tried to walk or run. Only this was no dream. As time dragged on, the snowfall became more intense, and when the forest canopy over his head thickened and became covered with new snow, he lost his GPS signal. The final bit of information he received from the unit showed that he was moving at just over 1 kilometer per hour. It was discouragingly slow progress. Now without the GPS, he had to follow a compass course and pace off the distance as he went. But he had to recalculate the number of steps he took for each 100 meters he covered. His usual stride in easy walking over bare ground came to about 110 paces. But looking back at his slow progress through the deep snow, he estimated he would have to double the count, at least. As McNabb struggled on, it began snowing so hard that he was walking blind, his compass giving him the only hint as to his direction, and even then he had to keep wiping the snow from the instrument. Keeping the wind on his left cheek was the best way he had for staying on course. He eventually came to a bit of a clearing, and the snowfall eased momentarily. The GPS gave him several minutes of readings, though with only a 60-meter range of accuracy. It showed him to be 190 meters from the plane, except now it was lying off to his far left. He rested a moment to catch his breath, and standing there he thought he caught the faint sound of a snowmobile engine. Between the wind and heavy veil of blowing snow, the sound gave no clue as to its direction, but it left McNabb with the unsettling feeling that it could be Morgan, the poacher. The snowmobile tourist would have headed out toward the Moose River, not inland toward the endless muskeg. He immediately tried to dismiss the thought, knowing that a trained but wanted commando wasn't going to be riding noisily through the bush on a winding snowmobile, was he? Having regained his breath, McNabb urgently struck off in the new direction indicated by the GPS, hoping against hope that it wasn't sending him on a wild snow goose chase. Now, struggling in the new direction, his face was being stung by sharp, wind-driven snow pellets. At the same time, inside his parka, he was overheating and perspiring freely. The heavy going through deep snow was getting harder and with every labored step, but he refused to give up. He was desperate to find Sam. He paced off 200 meters with no sign of the beaver. He began to fear that he might have missed the plane completely, but just when his spirit was on the verge of breaking, he saw some freshly broken branches and pieces of treetops sticking out of the snow and hanging from the trees around him. He knew then that he must be getting close. From the time of his boss's phone call, it had taken him 2.5 hours to get this far. Way too much time if Sam was badly injured and in need of medical assistance. The very thought drove him forward despite his burning muscles. And that is where I'll leave you. You will have to go and buy a copy if you want the rest. My books are available on Amazon as paperback and Kindle editions, and if you follow the link on my page, you'll find them. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.